Good evening, everybody. It's February 14th, Monday evening at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And it's the second video blog post of this year. And I must say that I know I missed 3 or 4 months of them, actually 4 months. And since I started my first one in January, I've gotten so many requests for topics. It was very difficult for me to decide what to talk about tonight. But I did receive one request from actually it was a very young girl, about 17 years old, and I got a wonderful email from her, and she's from California, and obviously I wouldn't mention her name because she's a minor, but she had a question about charities. You know, who do you donate to? And you know, that's always kind of been a pet peeve topic of mine. And I thought I would talk about that tonight because we're inundated with infomercials on TV as well as social media, looking for different charitable organizations to donate. And, you know, we could become donation poor if we want to donate to every one of them because the commercials, especially the TV ones, are so touching that it could bring a tear to your eyes, especially when you look at some of the animal organizations and so on and so forth. The one thing I do want to clarify, though, at no point during this quick little discussion that I'm going to have with you all about charities am I going to suggest a charity or even mention the name of a charity because, you know, I pride myself on making my posts factual and not biased. I do donate to 3 charities myself. One is a military organization, one is a children's organization, and one is an animal organization. I just happen to believe in them. I love dogs. Dogs are my favorite. And so we all have our little pet peeves. And, you know, to say my son being a veteran, you know, serving in Iraq, to say that our military veterans that are disabled and whatnot need our support is an understatement. But the question is, how do we decide? How do we decide which charity to donate to? You know, over the years, there's been numerous rumors. You could go online and Google it as well as I did. There's a decent amount of research I've done on the charities that I donate to before I did that. And I learned a lot that way, but I also spent many, many hours researching this topic. And much to my surprise, the information that I learned and I found out is actually staggering. Now, I think we have to be realistic when it comes to charities in any organization that we donate to because they all have administrative costs. You know, and there's 3 levels of charities. There's high, medium, and low overhead charities. Now, obviously, some charities have a higher overhead, so their administrative costs are going to be higher. Other ones have medium overhead costs, and a lot of them are run really by volunteers, and their administration costs are a lot less because they need less paid people on staff because they have volunteers doing their work. So I think we need to understand that any charity that we decide to donate to is going to have administration costs. Now, some of the questions that we may want to ask ourselves is, what are the assets of a charity? You know, for example, and I use this strictly for example purposes, do they own their own jet or jets to fly around to different areas of the country versus taking commercial flights? You know, not saying that a charity that does that is a bad charity. You know, maybe in the long run, from a financial standpoint, it's cheaper for them to do that than it is to take commercial flights for all the various places they need to go to. But the purpose of tonight's blog post is to really give you a little insight as to what to research for if you're going to choose to donate to a charity. And one of those is, what are their operating costs? What are their administrative costs? Now, a couple of notes that I wrote down here. That according to Charity Navigator, which is a pretty well-known website and very reputable, the rough average of your donation is 40% of what you donate goes to the administrative costs to run that charity. Now, is that high? Is that low? Well, that's up to you to decide, and that also depends on the charity and the size of the organization. And there's some charities that run as little as 15% that goes to their administrative costs. And then there's other charities that advertise on TV that all of the money goes into research and the cost, okay? Or I should say nothing goes into the cost and it all goes into research. I'll stand corrected on that. So it could boggle the mind, and there are charitable organizations that I'm sure might be a little bit of a scam, so to speak, meaning the administrative costs are maybe unusually high because it's used for dinner purposes, and not as much goes into helping the animals or the people or the veterans or whomever the case may be as should, or as us as donators would like to see. And I'm going to give you, and I'm going to put on the screen the name of 3 websites that if you want to check out a charity, then one is Charity Watch, and their email is on the screen. The second is GuideStar. Their email address is also on the screen. And the other one is GiveWell, and their email address is also on the screen. And those are great sources, research sources, if you want to research a charity and find out more about it before you're going to donate to it. Let's not kid ourselves. We live in an age now where money is tight, gas prices are going up, inflation is off the scale, highest it's ever been in our country's history. Our national debt is over $30 trillion. And we look at these job figures that so many people take credit for. We have a record number of jobs. Well, you know what? We don't have a record number of jobs. The bottom line is all we're doing is putting people back to work that had jobs before. So my question is, are we really adding new jobs, or are these just people who are now going back to work as a result of not working from the pandemic? But politics being what it is, everybody wants to put a feather in their cap, and I get it. But I'm smart enough to see through it, and I'm sure most people are. But what I'm concerned about is, what are the new job numbers? In other words, jobs that never existed before because either new companies have opened or moved to our country, and we are now creating new jobs, not just replacing old jobs. Those are the numbers that are important to me. And that's what I look at. And that's the type of things that I research when I do my data and my research. Why did I say that? I said that because this all revolves back to the same issue. Money is tight. And, you could be the biggest animal lover in the world, but you might not be able to afford that $11 or $19 a month or whatever, because you have bills, you have other expenses. The housing market is, and I mentioned this in one of my written blog posts, is literally putting middle-class America out of the homeownership realm. Because people are exiting so many states, in nearby states. I'm not going to reiterate what I've already written in a previous blog post, but there's a number of problems that are causing people severe, and I mean severe, economic crisis. Even the wealthy people, all right? I make a joke a lot of times, and everybody knows that I've made no bones about the fact that I love boating. I've always owned a boat. And with my recent move now down here to Florida, hopefully this year, later on in the year, once I'm thoroughly settled, I want to buy another boat because I sold the one I had in Connecticut. And when I look at the prices of these things, and they're $30,000 and $40,000 inflated over what they were pre-pandemic, whether I have the money or not, I am not going to be ridiculous enough to spend it, because what's going to happen when all of this blows up in our faces? Then the prices of all of these things are going to drastically decrease. And now we will have spent so much more money than what something is actually worth. Then in the long run, we're going to lose even more money than what we're going to lose by normal depreciation over time. So money is tight. That's the bottom line as to what I'm trying to say. But with regards to charitable donations, and like I said, I donate to 3 that I firmly believe in. I've heavily researched them. I know them to be legitimate. I've looked at their reports because they're nonprofit organizations, so their financial reports have to be public. And I know where their money goes. And I know that the money that I'm donating, I know that the largest percentage of it is going to the people or the animals that they're supposed to be helping. And that's what's important to me. So I guess my take-home message to this little thing about charities, and I'm sure that young little girl from California is watching this. I really want to thank her for this topic, because it's a great topic. And it's a topic that you don't really hear people talk about that much anymore. And it's a topic that needs to be talked about, because people and animals in our country need our help, need some help from the people that could afford to give a few dollars or whatever they can do on a single basis, on a reoccurring basis, because it's all about a humanitarian effort for our fellow man, for the animals that we love, that are pets in our household, that really aren't pets, they're just like family. And most people want to help. And it's so easy to be fooled by pictures and videos and things like that on a television screen or in a social media post just to get your money. And you don't really know where it's going or how much of your money is actually going to help the cause. I'm not going to get into this as a point of discussion, but everybody's been watching the news and all the arrests that are happening with certain movements that came up during the pandemic, and we know what they are. And there's millions of dollars, tens of millions of dollars that is unaccountable and unaccounted for. And that's money that millionaires have donated. Now, let me tell you something. Somebody's got 10, 15, or 20 million. They could probably donate $1 million and not miss it, okay? But you know what? Ask yourself this question. Could you afford to donate $100, $500, or even $1,000 and say you're not going to miss it? I don't know too many everyday people that could say that. So you have to do a little research. And I'm not saying these causes are not legitimate, and I am not inferring in any way, shape, or form that any charitable organization is not legitimate. But what I am saying is, you as the donator have the responsibility to do some research to make sure that the money that you are donating, the most percentage of your dollar is going to help the people that you're trying to help. And, I really wish that I could mention the 3 charities that I donate to, because they're truly great charities. But if I do that, I'm afraid that I would be leading you or suggesting you to donate to those charities, and that's not what I do, and that's not the purpose of the diversified blog posts that I do. And I don't want to show any bias towards any charity, because what we're talking about here applies to charities in general. It applies to every charity. I don't care what the charity is. So take that responsibility. Take a moment, if you're going to donate, which is a great humanitarian thing to do, that you're donating to a charity that is using your hard-earned dollars to the best advantage and the possible highest percentage that is going to the people that need it. I have gotten numerous video blog post topics to consider for March. There's one that's really pretty controversial, and I think I might hit that one because controversy doesn't scare me, and stating my opinion doesn't bother me at all. I've been told multiple times I don't have a filter. And I don't. I say what's on my mind because it's based on truth, fact, data, and research. And those are the things that you can't deny. And that's what I base my blog posts on. If you have any topic that you'd like to see me write about or speak about, please. My email address is on the bottom of the screen. Shoot me an email. If you want to leave me your name, where you're from, whatever. If you want me to mention that, I will certainly give you credit for it, and I will mention that. If you want to stay anonymous, then I will do that as well. I respect everybody's privacy. And with that, I ask everybody, subscribe to my blog. You're not going to get inundated with a ton of emails. You're just going to get an email letting you know when a blog is posted and a link to it. And that comes once a week on a Monday evening. Other than that, you're not going to get any other emails from me. And the most important thing is my website is on the bottom. Please feel free to go to it, and you can read our privacy statement. I never, ever have, nor will I ever share or sell my email list to my subscribers to anybody. That's your private information. And I appreciate the thousands of subscribers that I have, and I'd like to see even more. I think anybody who does a blog wants to get the most subscribers they possibly can, but I want you to know that your information, which is only your email address, by the way, no phone numbers, no mailing addresses, nothing like that, just a simple email address, is never sold or shared with anybody. And I have gotten some pretty decent offers for my mailing, my emailing list, and I won't sell it. I never will, because that's not the purpose of why I do my blog. So with that, I hope you enjoyed a little bit of education I might have given you about charitable donations and charities tonight. And stay safe, be well, and God bless. Good night.